paid $75 to write like 400 words was not a normal thing, especially in India. The amount of money I was making, people were in shock and they were not able to crack more than like $200 a month. The thing with creating content online is that certain things are just not the full story. These things hurt a lot. This hate comment that I have to deal with, there was so many over the years. People were responding and agreeing. I thought the world is against me. I'm at a stage where now I just do whatever I want. So I introduced the concept of like charging in advance. And I said, you have, like, if you're not getting paid by a client, it's because you should be getting paid before you start the work, not after.
That's the misconception a lot of people have, that when you're working for yourself, you're free half of the time.
That's not true. Because
Today's guest went from writing a single LinkedIn post in her university dorm to building a 6-figure personal branding business. She's known as the LinkedIn Girl, a writer and strategist whose content has reached millions and reshaped how creators show up online. Shreya Pattar, welcome to the show. So Shreya, I want to start with September 2019. You are a university student. You just met the CEO of LinkedIn and you are sitting in your room with your journal. When you decided to turn that journal into your LinkedIn post, what were you feeling? What were you thinking? Because that single decision changed everything in your life.
that was the first time maybe I was not thinking of anything. So I have this thing, like, I've always been a writer. So when I met the CEO, it was just like a really good experience, really good interaction. First time meeting someone really prominent like that. So yeah, I went home and I like wrote it down like an essay basically.
Oh, wow.
And then before bed, I was like, this is about meeting the CEO of LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn profile. Apparently, you can post there. So why not post it? And I remember, obviously, I knew nothing about LinkedIn. So I just like copy pasted that whole essay onto LinkedIn. And it was like, you're over by like 4,500 characters or something ridiculous.
Oh my God.
And then I cropped it up and I was like, okay, let's just put some part of the story. And I put it out there and it just blew up over the next few days.
Wow.
So that came from, I guess, not thinking, but also being like, it's about LinkedIn, makes sense, put it up on LinkedIn. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
Yeah, and 1.5 million views on your first post.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
What were you feeling back then?
I used to do a lot of like anonymous writing, but this was the first time that people connected a piece of writing to me. And that was a new thing. That was like, oh, wow, there's 1.5 million people who saw what I wrote. That's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the numbers meant. Like, I wasn't aware of, oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing or like what's going on? I was in class at like the next day and my phone was in my bag and my bag was like next to me and I can just feel the phone like vibrating nonstop and I'm like, something's up. And then I check and it's like LinkedIn. Nothing happens on LinkedIn. What do you mean? And then I saw, okay, a lot of people are messaging. A lot of people are saying, oh, that's like, it's such a good story. You've written it so well. How do you write so well? Can you teach us how to write? Can you write for us? And then, yeah, it was just a lot of emotions that week.
Yeah, you're just a student sitting in class and then suddenly
Yeah.
your phone ringing.
Yeah.
Wow. When the first client inquiry came in, what was your immediate reaction?
My first client was actually very interesting because he wanted me to write an article for his blog that was about my experience meeting the CEO. So he wanted me to make it like an inspirational, motivational kind of blog post about, the experiences you can have when you're young and the opportunities you can get. So he was very clear. He was like, hey, Shreya, I want you to write this article. Like, I would love for you to write this article for me. And then he said, I'll pay you $75 for it. Are you up for it? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So it was very straightforward. He told me like how much he would pay. He said, as soon as you send me the article, I'll PayPal you the money. Do you have PayPal? And I was like, yeah, I can set that up. So I set up my PayPal, wrote the article, sent it to him. He paid me the money. And that was the first time somebody had paid me to write for them.
Wow.
And that was like surreal. Like, that was such a good experience. And just also understanding how to talk to people. And obviously it was a good experience. Like, I got paid on time. I had somebody who was very clear on what he wanted, and he like really liked what I offered as well. So yeah, it was good. Good.
Amazing. So you didn't have to negotiate much. It was just very straight.
No, it was very straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's rare actually.
It is rare. And the thing is, at the time, I also didn't know what I had signed up for. Like, I just saw it as an opportunity to write, and okay, somebody is paying me. But I realized, I think a few weeks in, that getting paid $75 to write like 400 words was not a normal thing, especially in India at
Yeah.
all. Like, people would probably get paid like literally $1 or $2 for that.
Oh my God.
So when you compare it to that, it's like, oh wow, I did something unknowingly that most people struggle to do, even when they knew that they wanted to hopefully get there like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience. That like really opened up my eyes like, oh wow, there's so much I can do
Mm.
and I can build on here. And that's because somebody approached me and said, hey, this is what I can offer you. And I realized people are willing to offer that without me having to, chase or negotiate or even ask for it.
Yeah.
So that was like a
Yeah,
very
that
important
just
thing.
opened new doors for you.
Yeah, totally.
Did you ever feel at that moment you were feeling imposter syndrome? That, oh, I'm just a student, no degree, minimal experience?
Not really. One thing that I know I'm really good at is writing. Like, I have no doubts about what I write. Even when my content goes viral, like literally yesterday, I had a tweet that's now at like 170K or something.
Wow.
When I write something, I'm sure of it. So I don't doubt my writing at all, which has been a very good thing considering my entire career is me writing. Of course, there's feedback. Of course, not everyone likes what I write, but I'm very confident in the quality of work I'm capable of producing. I did not have imposter syndrome, but I just came from a place of excitement and curiosity. Like, oh, I want to see what happens. I want to see what does he say about something I've written for him.
Mm.
And by that time, even though I was just freshly started college, I had spent a whole year doing a lot of different internships. So I did have experience working with like a manager or like a boss who's giving me feedback. We have like a lot of client back and forth. Nobody knows what they're doing. And then we figure it out last minute for like a month-long campaign. So I had that experience a little bit. And I was like, we'll see what happens. Like worst case scenario, something doesn't work out and we edit it, we rewrite.
Yeah.
But the worst case scenario was not that bad. So
Yeah, but what I see here is even young Shreya had so much clarity what she was doing.
yes, I like with writing, I always have
Yeah.
100%.
Tell me about your meeting with the LinkedIn CEO.
So it wasn't even a meeting. He was there for an interview. And I went up to him, took a picture, and then I walked away, and everyone's taking pictures. And then I was like, I don't want a job right now. I've just started college. So what can I do with my LinkedIn profile? Who best to ask? The LinkedIn CEO, like just go up to him and be like, excuse me, what do I do with this thing that you just made? I went up to him and I was like, I've just started university. I'm a first year student. I don't want a job. So what can I use LinkedIn for? Also, because back then LinkedIn was only known as a job search platform. Like that was the role of LinkedIn was to find a job. So I was like, I don't want a job. So what can I do? And he asked me, so this is his signature question that he asks everyone. He asked me, what is your dream job? And I said, I don't know. I know now that I never wanted a job. So that's why I never had an answer. But when he asked me, I was like, I actually don't know. And he's like, okay, take some time to think about it so that everything you do on LinkedIn is then in alignment with getting that dream job, right? That was the conversation. And then he also asked to see my LinkedIn profile. He was like, can I have a look at what you have on there? And he looked at it. He was like, oh, you have some experience here and there. Like you've done a few things. So just keep showing up, have conversations. And that was kind of it. There was no hack. There was definitely no like secret content thing going
Yeah.
on, nothing. But just, having that conversation, it did make me think about, okay, what is my dream job or what is something I want to do? I didn't have an answer for the longest time, but I understand, like in hindsight, that it was like everything you show up with online or offline is in alignment with overall whatever you want to do.
Mm.
So if I want to speak more, I want to be on podcasts more, I have to put myself out there and be like, hey, can you connect me with Abhivir? Because I think he has a really cool podcast. And,
Yeah.
I want to make that happen.
100%.
So you have to make things happen. And I think LinkedIn was part of that, where I was like, I love writing. And LinkedIn seems to be a very cool place to write because Instagram is picture friendly. I wasn't aware of Twitter back then.
Yeah.
All of the newsletters and stuff, it's very specific. So I was like, LinkedIn seems to be the best place for me now. And I love writing. So why not let people see how I write? That's all. That was the only goal. And then eventually it turned into like a whole business.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was there specific in that conversation you felt that it is worth sharing?
I don't know. I think I actually honestly really liked the way I wrote about it. I was like, this is a cool post. My opening line for that post was when the CEO of LinkedIn himself checked my LinkedIn profile.
Oh, wow.
So it's intriguing and I was really proud of it. And
Yeah,
I
I
was
think that's a
like,
good hook.
yeah, it's a good hook.
Yeah.
So I was like, might as well just put it out there and see what people say.
Yeah.
Actually, no, just put it out there. That's it. Like I didn't know anything about anything. So just why not?
Yeah. So, in those first 24 hours after the post went viral,
Hmm.
how did your self perception changed?
I just realized that there's a lot happening. That's all. So we have a WhatsApp group chat with my parents and my sister. I was sending screenshots. This person said this. This person messaged me this. This person commented this, and I still have the screenshots. Oh, now the post is at like 100,000. It's 180. What's happening? It's 250. People are messaging me, and people
Wow.
are asking me, and they're telling me they want a job from me. They're saying that they want to give me a job, but I don't want a job. So we were just having a lot of back and forth. So for those few days, I was just having a lot of conversations with my family around this as well. Like, what am I supposed to do? It was very overwhelming in a good way. Just because, again, never knew what this whole thing is or
Yeah.
what to expect or whatever. Yeah, I think just eventually took it one day at a time. And I also realized I'm a pretty good writer because a good writer and a good thinker, because it was not just about writing a post. Then people started commenting, and I was actually responding to the comments. And people were asking me questions about writing, about how to get internships, because I had some experience. How to also people were asking me, how did you have the confidence to go up and speak to somebody like that?
Yeah.
I think that also opened me up to the fact that I'm a good writer, yes, but a good thinker. I can help people really well also. I started doing Q&As. Eventually I started doing podcasts, but I think like the initial exposure was that interaction over text with people.
So, when did you realize that this wasn't just a lucky break, but
Mhm.
potentially a career?
I just kept showing up, honestly. Like, I didn't think of it as a career. Even like one step back, right? When I went to college, I studied English literature and philosophy, and people would genuinely ask me, like, what job do you get when you do philosophy?
Mm.
Who employs you? And I was like, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I genuinely did not think that far.
Yeah.
Like I went to college and I was like, I'm so excited to study literature and philosophy. I'm so excited to be in this university that everyone talks about. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like people always look at me and say, Shreya, you're so sorted. And I was like, I'm figuring it out. But apparently I just do it in a very like nonchalant way. So people think
Yeah.
that I always had like a game plan.
Yeah.
I never did. And I still don't really. I didn't really know like what to expect as a career. I was like, I like writing. People are enjoying my writing. I just want to show up. I had so much going on in college. I wanted to share it with people, and eventually it turned into something. And the reason I think I kept going was because it was challenging.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, how many clients can I close this month? How much money can I make this month? Not even like, oh, how much money do I want to make, but like it would be cool,
Yeah.
to like be able to pay your own college fees while you're an international student and in a new country. So all those kinds of milestones, they were fun, and I was basically having fun.
This is very relatable to me as well because after leaving tennis, I was like, okay, let me get into the college. Let
Yeah.
me see where it takes me. So I started doing my master's in sports industry management.
Mm-hmm.
And people used to ask me, okay, now you have stopped playing tennis. And what you gonna do now? And I was just experimenting, like, okay, let me
Yeah.
just see because I was never a nerdy kid who would study anything. And then, but slowly, I think this is how life starts revealing and you start connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Like you never know where you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But this is how life works. You just have to keep on experimenting and
Yeah.
keep connecting the dots.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
something I like to say is that your job in life is to create more of those dots.
Yeah.
Like you have to do so many random things. Like even this podcast, like eventually it happening, there were so many dots that actually connected us, based on the whole interaction.
Right.
There were like 5 unrelated people involved in making this happen across like so many different places. So you just like make more dots, and then eventually the ones that are meant to connect will.
Hmm.
And I think that's a good way to live life.
That's true.
Yeah.
And this is very powerful, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people gonna think about it after listening to this.
Yeah.
That you just keep building the dots.
Dots. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have had this incredible start, but I imagine it wasn't all smooth sailing from there. So you mentioned deleting LinkedIn after your first hate comments.
Yeah.
I want to understand this moment because it's so human.
Yeah.
And you're crying, you have deleted the app, you think it's over. What was going through your mind? What made you download it back at that same night?
So I have a lot of emotions basically, and I don't hold on to them for too long, I think. When I got the comment, it was basically a lady who had commented like an essay on my post,
Hmm.
and it had taken like everything out of context. Why is this person like arguing with me when this is not even what I said? And the fact that then people were liking that comment, people were responding and agreeing to that, I thought, oh wow, the world is against me. So I got really upset. I got scared. I was like, okay, now this is going to become a pattern. Now every time I post, somebody will have something to say against it. And if 20 people have liked that comment, it means I'm wrong,
Hmm.
right? That's why I deleted the app. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I think, my time has passed. Like the boat has sailed.
Hmm.
We had a good time. Now it's gone. But then eventually I downloaded it again because I don't know. I was just, I don't know. I just did. I just did. I was like, okay, let me see that comment again. I think I really wanted to read the comment again.
Yeah.
So I was like, but this person said this, but I did not. I was trying to like analyze,
Yeah, you were just very
understand.
curious to know, okay, what other
Yeah.
people are saying.
Yeah. And I just wanted to keep up with it and be like, okay, what should I have said? But then over time, I realized that it doesn't really matter. And then I posted, I published my next post, and then there was nothing on that.
Uh-huh.
Also, it did help me improve my writing style because I realized that if you're not very specific, of course, people can still take you out of context no matter how much you explain. But it improved how I was making my points in like a post. It improved the word choice as well because there were certain words in that post that could have been triggering. So I understood that if I don't want people to get triggered, there are certain words I shouldn't be using. And if I want to do that, there are certain words I should be using.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot as well. But yeah, I just realized that this is one incident. It happened multiple times over, and honestly, like this was the easiest hate comment that I have to deal with. There was so many over the years, and for the first 2-3 years, I've been doing this for like 7 years or so now,
Wow.
6-7 years. So for the first 2-3 years, every single time this happened, it really got to me, like
Hmm.
down bad. Now, like people can come up to my face and say something, and I was like, I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
care.
so
Like,
that's what I wanted to come next.
yeah,
How did you develop that thick skin
yeah.
to be a content creator? Because I think a lot of content creators get that.
I operate from the mindset that whatever I'm saying at a given point of time is correct. It's true. So even if I'm giving an opinion, it is my opinion at this point in time. It may change, but right now what I'm saying is my opinion. I agree with it. So why should I fight you over it? It's my opinion. You can hold yours and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And you can be wrong, by the way. In my opinion, you can be wrong and I
Yeah.
can argue you over that and you can argue me over that. But it's not my job to like change you and it's not definitely not my job to change myself
Yeah.
to appeal to you.
Yeah.
I think that took a lot of understanding, plus the fact that people can just say stuff
Mm.
because they can.
They can.
They will never come up to you in person and say these things to your face,
That's right.
but they will say that in a comment. They will say it from an anonymous account with one follower,
Right.
overwhelmed, probably chronically online. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives as well.
Yeah.
So I just started operating from the place of I will post and I will say what I want to. And for the most part, honestly, I just stay away from social media. So I might read the comments, I might respond sometimes, but I don't care what people say. I really like producing content. I like shooting content. I like posting content. But the thing that happens after that, how many views it gets, what people say about it, I don't really care about those
Yeah.
things.
Makes sense. And it's not under your control at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the worst comment you have ever received and how did it affect you?
I discovered a thread on Reddit, which was something like Insta celeb gossip or something.
Mm.
When I came across this thread, there were a lot of the first question that had come up was, okay, there are so many of these girls in the freelancing space, everyone has their own product, or like I have written ebooks. So somebody was asking for feedback on, okay, what do you think about this person's product versus this? And some people had responded to the point. Some people had good things to say about my ebook. Um, then there were a few people who didn't have good things to say. And then I went into that rabbit hole of, okay, so if there is one question about me, there might be more. And then I looked up my name with the word Reddit. Shouldn't have. Or should have. I don't know. Like now I'm chill with it. So then I come across all these posts where people have screenshotted my Twitter, like my tweet, and said, "Oh, who does she think she is?" I had like a very harmless tweet that I had posted after my graduation ceremony, and I had a photographer for the event, and then I posted it saying the photographer just sent these pictures in, and I don't think I've seen a more gorgeous woman in my life.
What?
Like you can say these things about, you're
Yeah.
supposed to self love,
100%.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I had this post, and somebody, like, it's obviously a fun, a light-hearted, like, it's a nice post. It's a heartwarming post. And somebody actually put that up as a screenshot on Reddit and said, honestly, she just looks like a basic girl to me. I don't know who she thinks she is and all that stuff. And then people are actually conversing about it.
Oh my God.
I'm like, guys, like, get a joke, like,
Yeah.
take a joke or have some fun, or don't mind, like, don't talk about self love and then like bash somebody who's actually really happy with themselves, And then there were a lot of other things like, oh, she's so narcissistic. She has like a god complex. Who does she think she is? For a few days, that really bothered me because this was very personal. It wasn't about something I had written.
Yeah.
It was about me.
Yeah.
These things hurt a
Yeah.
lot. But it took me literally 48 hours to get over it because I realized over time that none of these people know me.
Mm.
And I sent it to a few of my friends and they were like, this is bullshit. We would never say these things about you. This is not true. So I was like, if people who really know me would never say this about me,
Yeah.
then the strangers who don't know me, they're just making up stuff. This doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that was my last straw. That's when I totally got over it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, you can say anything to my face, like, I wouldn't mind. If you don't know me, I don't care.
Right. You said you worked 16 to 18 hour days in college while your friends were socializing. Do you ever regret missing out on that normal college experience?
Not really. No. I think everyone has their own story, right? For me, people assume my story based on what they've seen online or based on where I've studied or the things I've done, whatever. But everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different purpose of going to university. One thing I knew was I wanted to change my life. Like, I wanted to be a different person. I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to have that shift in myself because I've moved away from home. My parents have put in a lot of effort to make this possible for me, and I was always grateful for that, but it was always something that I wanted to be make sure that I do justice to that.
Yeah.
So I was very sure of that. And it helps maybe that I wasn't a very social person anyway. Now I'm seeing those sides of me also. But for the longest time, I just told myself I'm not social. I'm very introverted, etc. So in some way that helped. But I do distinctly remember, like, I was attending every single event in college that was about like startups and pitches and workshops and web, like whatever was going on, interviews. I was there all the time. The entire staff at the business school knew me. They would invite me to stuff and they would be like, oh, like, this person's coming up. Do you want to like do the introductions? Do you want to announce the introductions? So I had a lot of opportunities to meet people based on that. So at the time, the prime minister, I believe, yeah, of Ireland, he was also showing up for something. And one of the ladies from the business school, she emailed me and she was like, we want you at the event as one of like the main like coordinators or something. So all these opportunities came up, even though I was supposed to be an arts student,
Yeah.
just by showing up, right?
Yeah.
And I had friends who would call me and be like, you can work all your life, like this is your time to have fun, what will you do once you like leave college? You will have your routine, you will have your stuff. But I feel like for me, my life has like totally flipped.
Yeah.
I'm at a stage where now I just do whatever I want. I have a good social circle where we are all hardworking.
Yeah.
We're all aligned on what we want to do. but we know how to have fun, and we know how to not pull someone away from whatever they want to build. Like we have fun, but we also work. We also make it happen. And even when we're having fun, like we're very supportive of each other. So I think my life just got better. Honestly, I'm really grateful for all the choices I've made so far. That peer pressure of how college should be is just a lie.
Yeah.
I think you should always just do what you want so that you
Right.
never have any regret. If I would have socialized, I would have been like, oh, I got the college experience, but that's on me.
That's right.
So I would have regretted that.
Yeah.
But now I don't. I feel good about myself.
Yeah, it's different for everybody, but I believe that that's the kind of mindset one should have if you're coming from a country like India,
Mhm.
because you are putting so much out there just to go and
Yeah.
study in that country,
Yeah.
and you end up partying, and then after college you're just clueless. Okay, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. You know, a lot of people actually who study abroad, what I've realized is that they do have family businesses to go back to.
Yeah.
So that has also been an interesting learning. Like, I understand that for some people, college was, of course, the way to study, but
Yeah.
also to have fun because this was their time. So, I mean, I respect how everyone has done things.
Yeah.
But this, like, I'm really glad with my choices as well.
So when friends stopped inviting you out because you kept saying no,
Yeah.
how did that feel?
Uh, as soon as I realized that happened, I did have a fallout. Like, I messaged 2 or 3 people. I'm like, guys, like, I saw your Instagram story. I was actually free tonight, but I didn't get a text. And there was nothing on the group. And oh, the plans were just, made, whatever. And we thought you were busy. So it happened a couple of times. And then I just realized that it's just not my circle. And it's okay. It's okay. Like, I was upset for a few days. It's a bit disheartening. But after a point, I realized, like, hey, I'm doing what I want.
True.
So if it's meant to be, I'll find a way back to whatever group I'm supposed to be with. But right now, I have different priorities, and that's okay.
So was there a moment where you questioned if the sacrifice was worth it?
I didn't see it as a sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
because, again, like, I wasn't a very social person. And that's how I thought of myself. I'm going to say I thought of myself because I see now that I'm totally opposite of what I thought I was. But I wasn't a very social person. I don't drink. So the whole Irish drinking culture was also not for me. I hated the weather. Especially in the winters, it was dark after 3 p.m. all the time. I was like, I'm actually really happy in my room with my tea and my hot chocolate and my books and my blanket. I'm actually really, really good with that. So I think there was a lot of other things that was going on where I was like, oh, I have this excuse and this reason or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a sacrifice. I just see it as, again, like having the freedom of choice.
Right.
And that was good.
Yeah, it's a struggle to step out when it's so cold out there, because I
Yeah.
remember myself being in Paris and it's so cold. My friends are calling me like, bro, come out, let's have fun. And I'm like, no, I'm just sitting next to the heater. I'm good here.
Yeah. Exactly.
So tell me about those phone calls where people said, why do you need so much money? You live in India.
Mm,
You're so young.
yeah.
Why charge so much? How did you handle that moment?
I was younger than I am now. So I was young.
Yeah.
And then I also looked even younger than I was. So when I was showing up on these calls, like, people were like, how old are you? And I actually would tell my age. And the one call I distinctly remember, I told my age, and this was an Indian business owner, and he's like, oh, so like you're like a kid. And then he was like, he started using the word beta, which is what Indians use when they're like, you're a kid, like you're a
Yeah.
son, a child, whatever.
I think
So
these are their tactics to negotiate. So that
yeah, so it was a very like condescending way of saying that. And he was like, beta, why are you charging so much? And like, this is not how it works. I have kids who have like so many degrees and they're charging this much. Like, I'm paying them this much as salary and they come to the office and you're charging like 5 times that for like a month, whatever. And when you have these conversations, the first time you're like, what is going on? Because how does it matter how old I am? And I already had that experience, right? I already knew my age didn't matter. I already knew that I was really, really good at what I did. Um, and I knew that people were excited to work with me and they were willing to pay me and they were willing to have me on their team and, just to interact with me. So initially, like, this was all, I was taken aback, and I was like, the honest thing going on in my head is like, wow, that's really a disrespectful thing to
Yeah.
say. Like, the nerve you have, you think those things, but eventually, like, I just realized these are not people for me, and I'm like, okay, I'm sure you have your thing, but this is how I work. If it aligns with you, you can email me or we can have another conversation.
Mm.
If not, that's totally fine. And yeah, good luck with everything. I hope you find what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and you just walk out.
So, how did being young, female, and from India
Mhm.
affect your negotiations?
So I never see myself as a Indian female entrepreneur.
Mm.
I just see myself as an entrepreneur
Mm.
or like a salesperson or a creator. I've never used who I am or like the unchangeable things about me as reasons why or excuses why something did or did not work out. Because a lot of people would say that, like, oh, because you're a girl, you didn't win that, or that's why you got second place. But what if I had got first place? Would that also be because I was a girl or because I was actually really good at the pitch that I did on stage in front of like 400 people?
Mm.
So I don't use that as a reason. It's not in my head. I never think of myself that way. That helps me be really objective, and it allows me to just always improve.
Mm.
Because if I don't close a deal, okay, it's not because I'm a girl or I'm Indian or whatever, or my accent, none of those things. It's because I did not know how to close this person. And I can go back and I can watch the call recording and I can be like, okay, this is something I can do differently next time.
Yeah.
And some people are not meant to close, and that's fine.
Mm.
So I think it really helps to not have those things be barriers to
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. And it's such a good shift of mindset,
Yeah.
like from being a victim to like, no.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like, this is who I am. That's it.
Yeah.
So I was born with it, can't
So,
change it. What I can change is I can become a better speaker, I can become smart, I can learn more, I can become better at sales. But other things I can't change, why should I complain about it?
right.
Yeah.
So, what did you learn about when to fight back versus when to walk away?
I think by default, always just walk away. It's just so much like peace of mind.
Yeah.
I no, I really value my peace of mind. I've learned that after a lot of yeah, a lot of back and forth. Let's say like in sales context, for example, like
Yeah.
when you're fighting for your worth, for example, you can't really fight someone who's very adamant on how they think about certain things. So if I'm having a conversation with someone and in his head he's sure like, oh, you look 16 and you're charging too much, there is not much I can do when they're operating from biases as opposed to from what has been discussed in the conversation.
Mm.
If you say, Shreya, I'm not sure of your quality of work, or can you connect me with someone you worked with, or are you sure you have experience with this? When we're talking about the matter at hand, then it's worth fighting for,
Right.
because then it's like within the boundaries of discussion. When you're bringing in, oh, but now you've moved back to India, what will you do with so much money? That's none of your business.
That's right.
And if you want to talk to me like that, that's disrespectful,
Right.
that's rude, and that is not the kind of person that I want to associate myself with, regardless of how much you pay or choose not to pay.
Yeah.
So then you have to walk away.
Mm.
Just keep your own dignity. It's not worth fighting for.
Right. So, these experiences clearly shaped how you think about business.
Yeah.
What controversial opinions did they lead you to develop?
Honestly, everything I say, I feel is controversial at this point. The way people react, I really winged it, and I did a really good job as long as I was winging it.
Mm.
There was always progress. There was always excitement. There was
Mm.
fun. Everything was me doing things the way I wanted to. I think what a lot of people do, even today, like even in my Q&As on Instagram, my DMs, people are always seeking permission.
Mm.
And people are always like, Shreya, is it okay if I do this? Do you think I should create content on Instagram?
Mm.
Do you think I should do Instagram, or do you think I should do YouTube?
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay if I have 1,000 followers? Can I still get clients? You're seeking too much permission.
Yeah.
So I think one of the controversial things that happened is like I was doing things the way I wanted and I didn't seek anyone's permission.
Mm.
I was charging money that nobody in India had even like thought of charging at that time. Now everyone is, like, not everyone, but like now people who are good at it have caught on to it. But when I started talking a little bit about the amount of money I was making, people were in shock.
Mm.
Because people had like journalism degrees, they had literature degrees, they had master's degrees in all of these things. They had been working for 10 years. They had been freelancing and they were not able to crack more than like $200 a month,
Yeah.
working like 80-hour weeks as a
Oh God.
freelancer.
Yeah.
And then I come in and I'm like, yeah, I got paid like $200 for like one post, so it really shifted a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I realized that it obviously came from the fact that I was not seeking permission. I was just doing whatever I wanted.
Mm.
And also the fact that I think this also became a controversial thing, like, okay, how are you doing it? So I introduced the concept of like charging in advance. If you're not getting paid by a client, it's because you should be getting paid before you start the work, not after.
Mm.
And I do that like 100% by default. They used to pay me like 1 month in advance. So they pay me now and then we do the work for the following
Oh.
month. Now we have our clients pay anywhere between like 3, 6, 8 months in advance.
Mm.
So they pay upfront and then they get like 8 months of work done.
Okay.
So obviously, like even that 1 month or even getting paid for one article in advance, it was not heard of. Now again, people are doing it, and I love that people are doing it. Like charging in advance, charging in US dollars.
Mm.
If you're working with somebody who's based in the US, why would you not charge in dollars?
Right.
Taking sales calls, not trying to negotiate over text, not trying to negotiate over Fiverr and Upwork,
Mm.
creating content, personal branding. So all these things were not there at
Mm.
all in the Indian space,
Yeah.
and now they are. So all the controversial has become the mainstream, which I'm really, really happy about.
That's great. So, what's your most controversial opinion about LinkedIn or personal branding that would make other experts angry?
In the last 1 year, everyone has shown up on LinkedIn. So I'm also pretty active on Twitter/X. And for the longest time, I saw that people are bashing LinkedIn. Anything would go viral on LinkedIn, it would become a meme on X. They would screenshot and be like, oh, it's so cringe, like look at LinkedIn, everything's a lesson or whatever. Everyone who was saying that and everyone who was like, oh, LinkedIn is cringe, I don't know how people do it, LinkedIn influencers, this, that. I'm running a business about LinkedIn and I'm like, okay, great. And then suddenly something flipped last year and everyone started a LinkedIn profile and they're making more money from LinkedIn compared to any other platform.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn and YouTube are doing really, really well in terms of making good money for people. But just that everyone was so against it. People are still against it. If your feed has cringe stuff, it's because you choose to entertain the cringe stuff.
Right.
Like the algorithm gives you what you entertain,
Mm.
and then it entertains you with that. So if you don't want that, you have to start spending time and liking stuff that you actually want to see more of.
Right.
And then you will see good stuff. There's good creators on LinkedIn. Like everyone's creating the same content on like 10 different platforms.
That's right.
If you have one good creator on YouTube, of course, they would probably be on LinkedIn and they would have that same quality of content.
Mm. Yeah, I got introduced to LinkedIn by one of my friend in very early stage. I was still competing back then,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was like, I don't think this is of any use to me.
Right.
And then I got enrolled to masters, and the first thing they asked us to do was like go and make your LinkedIn accounts.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they first told us, and
Nice.
they were like, okay, start looking for internships
Okay.
on LinkedIn
Yeah.
or the jobs you want to apply for later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still didn't get the hang of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just posting my podcast stuff
Yeah.
lately. I've been posting that a lot.
It's a start.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
a start is good.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And we can talk about it. Of course.
Yeah.
Happy to help you out. Yeah.
Thank you. So, what do most LinkedIn coaches get completely wrong?
I don't know if it's wrong. I think so many coaches are doing a really good job and it works for them and everything. But I think, again, the LinkedIn coaching thing has become a business where you're coaching about coaching kind of thing. If I run a LinkedIn agency and all I'm talking about on LinkedIn is LinkedIn success, LinkedIn advice, all those things, but I don't have experience running a LinkedIn agency. So what I'm doing is I'm pretending I have experience, which is what a lot of coaches do as well.
Okay.
So you're talking a lot about LinkedIn, like, oh, I'm getting like 20 calls booked a week. Yeah, but for what? For coaching about LinkedIn. Like, yeah, you're getting 20 sales calls for coaching about LinkedIn, and the student that you get will also want to coach about LinkedIn. So that's why I'm saying it's like coaching about coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there is a lot of space to do something interesting in terms of the content you put out there.
Yeah.
So can you be more personal? Can you share more interesting stories? Can people get to know you a little bit more compared to just how much money you're making or how many calls you're booking and all those kinds of things?
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see. Again, not something that people get wrong because it's working for them.
Yeah.
But that shift would be nice where not everything is like LinkedIn, 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 on LinkedIn all the time.
Yeah, you have to give your personal touch. Being a coach, also tennis coach, I
Yeah.
feel you have to first show what you got, your sides, your
Yeah.
vulnerable sides.
Yeah.
Then only the coachee will understand you better and
Yeah.
will open up more.
Yeah.
And then you can create some magic out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, is personal branding just narcissism disguised as business strategy?
I'm super into reading and studying about
Yeah.
narcissistic traits lately, so I will not. We shall not discuss why. Yeah, I find these things very interesting. So I've been studying a lot, reading a lot about that.
Yeah, tell me more about narcissism, like what you have been
No,
studying.
that's a bit too extreme.
Okay.
That's a bit too extreme.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but like I think, I mean, if I had to like really simplify it, I think it just comes down to being so selfish, so self-absorbed, and so selfish that you don't even care about what you are costing the other person.
Mm,
Like it's fine if you have nothing to lose, but you don't even care that you are sucking the soul out of the other person,
yeah,
right? They are going to be at a loss
right.
because of your behavior, because you just don't have that cell in your brain which says, "Oh, don't be selfish,"
Right.
um, I don't think personal branding is narcissistic. I think, let's say, if I was to speak for myself, I find it like the singular, most fulfilling aspect of my career
Mm,
is content creation. Being on a podcast like this, getting to share my experience, getting to share my thoughts, shooting reels where I can teach people something, where I can share experiences that hopefully helps them out in some way, tweeting on X, triggering people, but also like being super honest
yeah.
about how to see things and how best to navigate certain situations. I find this to be the single, like, it's so fulfilling for me. It's what makes my agency worth it. It's what makes everything else worth it because I like seeing the impact it has on people.
Mm,
And I see it. I do meetups in person. A group of us were in Madrid last month.
mm-hmm.
And we both posted about it like last minute. Hey, we're doing a meetup tomorrow. This
Yeah.
cafe, come 3 p.m. Didn't expect anything. One girl showed up from my Instagram, one guy showed up from his Instagram. So we had like a 4-person meetup,
Yeah.
very last minute. And this girl, she was so sweet. She got me like a candle. She got me like a
Wow.
handwritten letter. She's
Wow.
like, I've been following you for a couple of years. And she's like, actually, your sister, her sister had found her. She's like, my sister found you and she said, you're starting a business. You have to follow Shreya. And their dad follows me because he really likes my content and the
Wow.
way I speak. So he follows me as well. So I have like a whole family following my
Fallen.
content,
Wow.
which I wouldn't have known until she would have shown up and said, hey,
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I was going to reach out. I saw you were in Madrid. I was going to reach out. But I was like, why would she want to meet me? And then you posted about it and it happened. I would not know that story if she was not there in person.
Yeah.
I imagine how many people's stories I don't know.
Mm,
So for me, that is very exciting that all of what I say and do, even if like 1,000 people watch it, it's helping somebody.
yeah.
I love that.
That's the idea behind with
So
the
with the
mask with W.
podcast,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's fun. It's
Yeah.
like you're giving something back. Maybe that's selfish. I don't know if that's narcissistic. You're like, oh, okay, I feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. It's a good
Mm,
feeling.
that's right. How much of what we see on LinkedIn is performance versus reality?
I don't know
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know the people who are writing, posting.
Yeah.
The thing with like online content or creating content online is that certain things are just not the full story. That's it. I don't think that makes it a performance. People who follow you don't need to know certain things about you.
Yeah.
I won't say that all of me is what you see on my through my content, but the sides of me that people need to see is seen in my content.
Mm.
Like if it's relevant to social media, it's up there. And for Instagram, for example, I have two profiles. I have a personal profile that I've always had. It's private. School friends, family, all those people I follow back also. My work profile is my work profile.
Mm.
But I post different stuff on both of them. Doesn't mean that one is performative and the other isn't.
Yeah.
It's just two sides of me, and not everyone needs to see both sides of me.
That's right.
So I think even with LinkedIn, right? So I mean, you enjoy the content. Hopefully, you have a chance to speak to the person. You see if you align with them or not. And then you can decide how you feel about the content. But yeah, you can make stories up, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have built a massive following.
Yeah.
How do you stay authentic when there's pressure to perform?
I don't have any pressure to perform
Mm-hmm.
at all. This is not a performance for me. I talk about whatever I want to talk about. And the thing about authenticity is that, like, I'm very authentic in the sense if I say something in my content, when you meet me, if you ask me about it, I'm going to talk about it in the exact same way.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter where you meet me. You could meet me on like social media in the DMs. You could meet me in person. You could bump into me at a party where I don't know you follow my content and you just bring it out of nowhere. You could wake me up. Like I could be like asleep right now. You could wake me up and talk about it. And I'm like, whoa, what? And I will still say the same thing.
Mm.
For me, that is authenticity. Are you aligned with what you are saying? And obviously, like opinions change. There's a lot of stuff that I used to say or I would have said that I don't agree with anymore.
Mm.
But that's just part of the growth,
Right.
right? So I'm still saying authentic, still authentic in the sense that, hey, actually, I did used to think that way, but I don't anymore.
Mm.
Here's why. So I don't have pressure to perform because there's nobody to perform for. It's just me showing up for myself, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
So, what's the difference between sharing your story and exploiting your story for content?
I think everyone has their own reason why they are on social media. For a lot of people, depending on the background that they come from, they can create, let's call it quote unquote, cringe content.
Mm.
They can create that because eventually it improves their life. It makes them more money. It brings them brand deals. It brings them followers. It brings them a job opportunity. You never know. So even though it's cringe, it doesn't matter because for them, it makes them a lot of money, right? The whole exploitation thing becomes it's a very thin line,
Mm.
you know? You don't know the other person's story.
Yeah.
So you don't know if they're exploiting it. At the same time, in content creation, what we also do is that when one story does really well, let's say I talk about a topic and it blows up, it gets like 3 million views.
Mm.
As per the content creation systems and rules, you're supposed to replicate the topic. You're supposed to use it again
Mm.
because you found what works.
Right.
So why not do something more of something that's either similar to this or do more of something that is exactly this but in a different way.
Mm.
So maybe I say the story in a different way. Maybe I add a layer to the story. Maybe I change like the format. Maybe instead of like a text post, it's now a video. Like maybe that changes, whatever. But you're supposed to exploit it
Mm.
because it's working now. So why not use it until it keeps working? So that is like the whole thing about exploitation versus just sharing your story. But it's like what works for you.
Yeah.
What do you not feel bad about? Because honestly, at the end of the day, you will find people who like alignment is not a problem. You will find people who really prefer to follow people who don't have any drama.
Mm.
But then you will also find people who love the drama.
Mm.
So even when we say you will attract your crowd, that is going to happen no matter what you do.
Mm.
So that's how I see it. And I guess it's, again, it comes back to like, what do you want from your social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also have these contradictory thoughts with myself when I get a tip like, yeah, if that's working, then just keep posting that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've already posted this.
Yeah. It's done.
Why should I post it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that just sounds very stupid to me at first.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, but it's working. So
It's
that's just,
working.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's also like people need more of that. So when we say something's gone viral, it means people see something in it that you didn't.
Hmm.
So maybe you can find a way to be more helpful in the exact same way.
Yeah.
So why not do more of it?
100%.
Yeah.
So everyone talks about building personal brand, but is that actually what creates success, or is it just what successful people do after they are already successful?
Now, today, it works both ways.
Hmm.
And I think that's a good thing. So when you start a personal brand, like people just get to know you more. That's it. So literally, if you didn't, I know like it doesn't make sense, but if you didn't have this podcast, I wouldn't have discovered you.
Right.
But then obviously I wouldn't have an opportunity to ask about the podcast because you don't have a podcast.
Yeah.
But my point is like when you show up, people end up finding you, like all these dots connect
Right.
basically. So this is like you starting your brand and you starting your own business, because the thing is now brand and business have become kind of the same thing.
Right.
Also, I don't believe in like saturation or competition that way. but there are a lot of options out there, and that's true. So you want to make sure that if a client is talking to you or if a brand wants to work with you, when they have all these options, what makes them choose you is certain factors that other people don't have. And that can come through your content. That can come through also your consistency. Maybe your content is not good,
Mm.
but maybe you've been like so consistent.
Yeah.
You just need like that one small break, for things to work. So I think you can be successful either way. Um, but whether the success, like you can be really good at content creation, for example, but if you're not good at getting brand deals, if you're not good at monetizing the content, at running an agency, at coaching, then you won't make money out of it. So you'll be a very successful content creator, but you may not be successful as those other things. So you have to pick your battle.
Yeah, so being a content creator, you have to develop all these small skills.
Yeah.
I think that's a wrong way to say small skills. These are big skills, actually.
Skills.
Yeah, skills.
Skills. Yeah.
Yeah, skills
Yeah.
to make money out of it
Yeah.
or to create something
Yeah.
bigger.
You have to have some sort of a business mind,
Mm.
or maybe just find the right person, find the right person, like a good manager or somebody who can help you out with it.
Mm.
And even just have conversations with other creators who you look up to, who are
Mm.
probably doing well. See, people are happy to help,
Right.
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell someone who's been creating content for an year or two,
Yeah.
but no results?
Okay. It depends also how you spend the year or two. So, what happens with LinkedIn, what a lot of people are doing now, is they're like, oh, I'm posting content every single day for the last 6 months. And I'm like, oh, that's great. How are you doing it? Yeah, I have this automation that picks up a news from here, adds some stuff, and just automatically posts it there.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work because that's not a personal brand. That's not you. That it's just not going to work. So it's people like mistake consistency for guarantees. Just because you're consistently showing up every single day, or even if you show up like every single hour of the day, it doesn't guarantee success. It's also the quality that matters. It's also how you show up. It's also intention, honestly. The intention you have when you're doing something and when you create something, it has its own magic
Yeah.
that you can't really call out on. You can't really replicate, but it does its thing. The same thing for Instagram. Maybe you've created content every day for the last 2 years, but did you improve anything? Did you improve your video shoot style? Did you improve your hook? When you saw for 1 month that your posts are not getting more than 100 views each, what did you change? If you didn't change something, you can't get good results or better results doing the same stuff. You
Right.
have to improve. And for video content, especially for YouTube, each video improve 1%. So maybe you shot a video today. Maybe next time you just improve the hook. The next time you improve the mic, you change the mic. Next time you change the lighting. After that, you learn how to script videos, not just talk. After that, you learn how to do this. Eventually, you get to camera. Eventually, you get to like a proper studio setup, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing that 1% better every single day or every single time, that baseline is not going to get you different results.
Right.
So if you are not getting results, then that is the only thing. You have to look at how have you improved.
Yeah. I love the word you used, intention.
Yeah.
Because lately I was not aware about it, but recently I got introduced to it.
Yep.
And whatever I do, even before the podcast, I was like, okay, what's the intention behind it?
Yeah.
What's the value people gonna get after listening
Yeah.
to this?
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if the conventional wisdom is wrong, what actually works? What are your systems?
I mean, I don't think the conventional systems are wrong. The only thing I will say with anything you do online, like your content or your agency, coaching, whatever you do, is that you should have fun with it. If you try to follow people's rules, you will put yourself in such a box that allows you no space for creativity, for authenticity, for experimentation, for failure. And I think it's very different when you fail at something that you chose to do versus when you fail at something that somebody told you to do.
Yeah.
So, like, like if your parents say, do this way, and you fail at it, you're like, I shouldn't have because my way would have probably worked.
Right.
But when you do it your way, again, you're like, yeah, mom, dad might scold me, but hey, I tried.
Yeah.
And at least now I can do it their way and see if that works,
Yeah.
So there's a very different emotion that comes from both these things. So I would say the only like controversial aspect of my system is that whatever you do, you should have fun with it.
Mm.
You should be willing to break the rules. You should be willing to go against what people say is definitely the only way things work. Never true.
Mm.
This is the only way to write a post. This is the only way to run a business. Not true.
Yeah.
Everything about what we do, content, business also like client side, but also your team side and the client's team. There's so many human beings involved. You cannot control anything. Every single day is going to be different. You will say the sweetest thing in a post. Like literally, I had that tweet about,
Yeah.
yeah, like the photographer sent these pictures, and I think this is the most beautiful woman I've seen.
Yeah.
If that can trigger someone, like you can't imagine these things, you know?
Right.
So things happen out of control. So just have fun because it's going to suck all the time.
Yeah.
So
Have fun.
have
Enjoy the
fun.
process.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it. That's my system.
If someone wanted to replicate your success, what are the 3 to 5 specific system you use that most people don't know about?
The first thing is that when I started on social media, I didn't overwhelm myself, which is something a lot of people do now. Yes, it's become easier to show up on all platforms at the same time. It's easier to repurpose content, but I highly recommend picking one platform. So I was on only LinkedIn for 2 years, and I built that up to like, I think 50,000 followers or something before I added Instagram.
Okay.
And I did those two platforms, then I added Twitter, then I added other things. So it was very step by step. I didn't like start off with podcasts and Instagram and LinkedIn. It was too much.
Yeah.
So I think the first step is don't overwhelm yourself. Like pick one platform, do it well. If over 3 to 6 months you're improving, it's still not working, you've tried coaching, you've tried getting help, change platforms. But
Mm.
start small is like more comfortable
Yeah.
in a way. The second thing I would say is like show up. Even on days when you don't feel like it, you have to show up, and you have to show up for yourself more than anything else. Like there will be times when you show up like on a client call and they say something and you're like, "Oh, you lost a deal." But the very next call is also a sales call and you
Yeah.
can't take that energy with you. So that's a very important part of like the system, let's say.
Mm.
So you have to show up with a very neutral and a very consistent energy regardless of what's going on.
Mm.
That's a very important part of it. The third thing would be like if I have to break down in terms of business, let's say, you have to have certain things in place. So you have to obviously be very skilled at what you do.
Mm.
If people are paying you, it should be fair. It's
Mm.
fair that if they pay you, they can get the kind of work that you promised them you would do.
Right.
So be be skilled and always keep learning. You can't just learn a skill and it's over. You have to keep training, practicing, getting coached for it. You have to improve. So the skill is important. That's the core skill, like the service that you're offering. Then there is obviously hiring, there's negotiation and sales, there's lead generation, content creation, all these other skills that eventually lead up to building a good business. You have to have like really strong pricing boundaries as well. Like how much are you charging? This is what we call an offer. So an offer is basically a package of your services, right? So what is the value that you provide? What are the deliverables as part of it? And then what's the price
Mm.
that you're charging for it? So you have to have a very solid offer. And then you have to have leads. Like a business only runs based on how many clients it closes.
And how do you get
And
that?
it can be various different things. You can reach out to people. So you have cold email that you can set up, which is again a massive skill to learn in itself. So it's better to work with somebody who knows how to do it.
Mm.
So you have cold email. You can reach out to people on Instagram, X, on LinkedIn, on all these social media platforms. You can cold call people, which is what your credit card companies do all the time. And they just call you and they're like, "Hey, do you have a minute? We want to talk about this offer." You do that. All of this content creation also helps with lead gen.
Mm.
So it could be on a specific platform. It could be, again, like going on podcasts or going on like panels, doing webinars and workshops, all those kinds of
Mm.
things. Networking events, also a good way to get leads,
Yeah.
especially in Dubai. Like networking events are a very good way to start conversations. And then one of those things would be referrals as well.
Yeah.
So if you meet somebody, it could be a client or it's just someone you met and you're talking to them about what you do. And they're like, "Oh, by the way, I actually have a friend
Mm.
who might be interested."
Yeah.
So referrals also are a good way, and especially if it's from a client who has worked with you, typically like the referral close rate is almost 100%.
Yeah.
because they've come through like
Someone
in
they
good
trust.
faith
Yeah.
and yeah, from someone they trust. So you want more of that. You want
Mm.
more of like working with really good clients, getting them good results, and then these people love you so much they refer more people to you. That's the best way to have a business.
So, what's your framework for writing posts that actually convert to business?
So I would say it's not one specific post that does that. And that is why we talk so much about like consistency with content. So if my first viral post, like the post went viral on LinkedIn, 1.5 million views, it got me a few clients. If I stopped there, I wouldn't have a business. It's because of all those small posts and people following me. And then even now I get messages like, hey, I started following you actually 3 years ago. Or hey, I actually saw that first post. Now I have a business and now I want to work with you. Like
Mm.
6 years, 7 years later, you know?
Yeah.
So you never know when these conversations can happen. So I would say like there are certain frameworks in the sense that you have good case studies, good testimonials. You're talking about your process, how you work with clients, the success stories, learnings, conversations you have with clients. Like what are the objections that come up in sales? How can you tackle those in your content as well? And then in content we have something called as a call to action,
Mm.
which means you're literally inviting someone to take a specific action. In this case, it could be like, hey, if you're looking for LinkedIn growth, like in my case, hey, if you're looking to grow on LinkedIn, but you don't have time, DM me, let's talk. We can help you out, let's talk.
Mm.
So you can have all this stuff going on LinkedIn. But I would say these posts are like nudges towards your service. So maybe you can do this like twice a week,
Mm.
but you don't want to you don't want to do this all the time. I personally don't enjoy doing this all the time.
Yeah.
So then most of my posts will end with a question, will just end with me completing my thought.
Mm.
um just more interactive as opposed to, hey, do you need my service?
Mm.
So that can be a good framework where you have a mix of storytelling, and that's also why I said like let people get to know you. Again, like if you're charging like a good amount of money every month, they have to know you. They're not
Right.
going to see one post and start paying you. Like
That's
it's
right.
very rare for that to happen. So nurture is what we call it. So you have to nurture through all the content you create.
Mm. So, Shreya, how did you transition from freelancer to agency owner?
That was quite a natural transition because after a point, I had more work than I could do myself. And I had kind of capped at the time how much I could charge as well. So what I was doing until then was if I had too much work, I would just increase my prices so that I could work with fewer clients and still make more money.
Mm.
So that's how I was offsetting it. But I'd reached a point where I thought, okay, like what I'm charging is pretty fair, and I need to now get some help. Also, I want more people to work with me. So then I started off with hiring a writer, trying it out, and then over time that turned into like a full-on agency. And I think in the last couple of years, I definitely realized that I want to do more of the business growth side of things. I want to be like a business owner. I want to do more sales and marketing, yes, but I also want to scale the business. I want to understand how the business works as opposed to writing. So I started like working with people who can work with my clients. So my team is strong enough to kind of handle that.
Mm.
And then I can step in, obviously train the team, work with the team on everything. But I also have space to actually work on the business as opposed to in the business. That's how we call it.
Mm.
So that was a natural transition, and it's been fun. It gives me space to explore other things as well.
And be free.
Fun. Not so much, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's the misconception a lot of people have, that when you're working for yourself, you're free half of the time.
That's not true. It's actually a bit different, because yeah, there are months where you can do really well and you can make a lot of money, but you don't have a steady paycheck. And especially if you're a freelancer, if you're actually sick, like sick, and you're sick for like a few weeks, imagine, like you will not make any money. Unless you have a very understanding client who's willing to be patient and you're able to find another freelancer to kind of step in for a while, etc., and do all that hassle also.
Mm.
If you had to lay in bed like right now and you were like, shit, I can't move, what are you supposed to do? You don't have a steady paycheck. You don't have like a lot of jobs offer like health insurance, you have certain benefits, you don't get that. If you're a freelancer, you also need, like let's say in Dubai, you need your own visa, you need to set up your own company, you have all those other responsibilities. And then eventually, when you have a team, you're responsible for the entire team. And the other thing people don't understand about, or they get wrong about running an online business or freelancing, maybe yes, you make like 90% of your revenue is your income. That's fine. But with an agency, it doesn't work like that. Yes, you want higher margins because it's a service based company, but at the same time, if somebody's saying, "Oh, I'm making 100K a month," their business is doing 100K a month.
Hmm.
They may be taking home, yeah, they may be taking home 60, 70, possible. But again, if you want to scale a business, you have to reinvest a lot of that money. So, what a lot of agency owners actually do is they draw salaries from their own company. So when you say, like, when people think like, "Oh, you're free," yeah, I'm chronically online. That's kind of part of my job. It's also kind of part of my unwinding process. But at the same time, like, it's the mental work. I'm always mentally working all the time. Like,
Yeah.
mentally, I'm always like, "Oh, what can we do now? Oh, how does this work for our client?" Like, that doesn't stop. That aspect doesn't stop. We're constantly thinking about what's a new service, what's a new conversation. Oh, this is something I should reach out to this person for. And that mental work never stops, even if you're not physically working. So you're never really free.
Yeah. So if someone is trying to build something from scratch,
Yeah.
I want you to take them through stage by stage, like what they need to do,
Yeah.
where to start.
I mean, I would say, like, like for 2026, for example, I would say the agency approach is the best way, because you don't need to be skilled at everything then. You can partner up with someone. Partnerships are hard. I have never done that in my life for my business. But if you're able to partner up with someone, maybe you both bring different skill sets, right? So one of you is really good at the fulfillment, the tech side of things, like the team management, all of that. And the other person is really good at sales and marketing and bringing in leads. And you both work together on this. So as soon as you find your first couple of clients, I would start hiring. I would already have people in pipeline, and I would start making them part of a team, and then focusing still on growing the business, like working on the business, not in the business.
Mm.
If you really want to grow an agency, because otherwise you're constantly stuck in this loop of playing it small. And when you have potential to play it big, why not?
Why not?
So, yeah, like if I were to go back, that's the only thing I would do differently. I would start from the agency approach first,
Mm.
have more space to do a lot of other things that actually build the agency, but also allows me to do like other sides of business, like coaching, for example, or training or webinars or workshops, the teaching side of things, and content creation. So
Mm.
that would be my move.
Yeah, looking at where you are now versus where the industry is heading, what should people be preparing for?
The whole AI thing,
Mm.
for sure, but in like a unique way. I don't think that AI is going to replace a lot of things just as of yet.
Mm.
So I feel like you still have time. So if anything, like make the most of these next 2, 3 core years that you have, and also like integrate AI into your process as opposed to feeling defeated by it. A lot of people are defeated, and this was even like a couple years ago when it wasn't even as big of a deal as it is now. But people would ask me like, "Oh, should I start freelancing considering AI? I think nobody would want to work with me, etc." I'm like, you already have competition with other freelancers. Like there was never no competition. You always had competition.
Mm.
But now for some reason it's just with AI, like you're more scared. So I wouldn't be scared of it. I would find a way to integrate it. Like if you could work with 3 clients by yourself before, now you can work with 5
Mm.
or 6 or more. So that would be the only like thing to be aware of, I guess, for the next couple of years.
So, how is AI going to change the content creation and personal branding?
I think we're already seeing a lot of people have created their own AI avatars,
Mm.
and they, instead of shooting content, they're using AI. I think people can do their own thing. I personally find it a bit unsettling, and I prefer to shoot my own content.
Mm.
And I think it does help because some people do comment, like there are a couple of videos I made where I'm speaking like really, really crisp, and my hair is like perfectly set. Like there's not one strand
Yeah.
out of place. And a couple of people messaged me and commented like, "What kind of AI tool is this?" I was
Oh
like,
my
"That's
God.
not AI. That's me. That's me just cosplaying AI at this point." But like, I don't think people care what they're looking at as long as it's good content.
Mm.
So if you are able to share genuine stories, that is going to be the most important aspect of whether you use AI or not in content
Mm.
creation. Like, can people connect with you? Can people resonate with you? So again, it's a bit conflicting because for me, creating content is the process of creating content. I don't create because I want to post today. I create because I want to create it. For me, it's the work. It's
Mm.
doing the work that brings me joy. So if I had to sit on a computer and be like, "This is my script," and give me no, I don't want that. I want to be in a mood to shoot content. I want to have the lighting. I want to have the reshoots and the retakes and mess up some words and have the bloopers. I want that
To
experience.
feel human.
Yeah, to feel human. So at least from a content creator point of view, this is my understanding of, like, for me, AI right now, I don't see it as part of my process. But yeah, like, people are doing it, and of course they have like really big pages as well. If it works for them, it's fine.
Yeah, because I got
So
exposed to this AI avatars, and my first reaction was like, this looks fake.
yeah. Also, like, why? Like, my first
Yeah.
question, why?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to create content and if you're a content creator, create content. Like,
Right.
create content. Don't post content. Create it, you know? So
100%.
yeah.
So, if you could go back and give your 19-year-old self one piece of advice before writing that first post, what would it be?
Oh, no advice. I wouldn't say anything. I feel like everything has worked out exactly as it should have. And I'm not very good with taking advice anyway.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have said anything. I'd be like, just do your thing, have fun, and it's all going to work out.
Yeah. So, what's the most important thing you want people to understand about building a career in the creator economy?
I think the most important thing is that if you say you're a creator, you should be creating.
Mm.
Doesn't matter what you're creating. You can obviously have different ways of creating something, and maybe AI is your way of creating, and that's fine. But like, enjoying the process, I'm going to keep harping on that because it's something that I honestly I realized this year. Certain things, like, I was like, this is not fun anymore. And as soon as I said that, I realized, yeah, that's the only difference. When I started out, everything was fun for me. I was doing it because it was so exciting and I just wanted to do more of it all the time. That's why I could, show up on all these platforms, do all these things, have like 16, 18-hour days because it was fun.
Yeah.
If you want to get into content creation, you have to have fun. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in, oh, how many views did this get?
Mm.
Why did this one get more than that? Why am I at 10,000 followers, but this other person is at 100,000? Why am I not making as much money as they are? Why do I not have this brand deal? Like, you will get into that comparison zone. You will get into the entitlement zone. And also, of course, the hate comments. Don't forget about that. Like, you have to deal with that as well. So you have to have like really true deep conviction that you really want to do this.
Mm.
And then literally, if your job is content creation, please create. Like, that's the most important aspect.
For someone listening who's thinking, I could never do what Shreya did,
Yeah.
what would you say to them?
I would say you're right because you're not me. So you can't do what I did. And I'm not that person who's like, I'm not you and I can never do what you do.
Mm.
But that's the point. Like, you're not supposed to be me. I have never said that, oh, if I did it, you can too. No, I don't know what you're capable of. You're capable of different things.
Mm.
I'm capable of different things. And I think that accepting that is really important. Like, don't say, I want to be like Shreya. You can say, like, Shreya's, I mean, say what you want, but like, um, when I look up to someone, I'm like, oh, that's cool. What did that person do to be able to achieve that? Can I do that? Of course I can do that.
Mm.
Okay, let's figure out how.
Yeah.
So having that, like, understanding mode, curiosity, and trying to figure out how you can do something for yourself as opposed to, oh, I wish I was this person, or oh, I can never be this person because I wasn't born in Mumbai, because I'm not a girl, I'm not Indian,
Mhm.
and I have too many privileges, so I can't be Shreya,
Yeah.
So you can think of it that way also. But yeah, I don't think you should want to be anyone else.
Yeah, and
So
everybody, you guys are unique being, so find your
yeah,
own unique ways to
yes,
make it work for you.
exactly.
Yeah. Take that mask off.
Lots of identities to explore. Yeah.
So, Shreya, this has been incredible. Where can people find you? And what's the best way for them to connect with your work?
So you can just type my name, Shreya Pattar, and then you get all my social media. So whichever one you're most active on, There's Instagram, there's YouTube. I create some shorts on there. X, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you might bump into some newsletters that are probably, or like a Substack that's probably not active, but I have a lot of stuff up there. And if you want to reach out, you can just message me on Instagram, on actually any of these social media platforms, but LinkedIn and Instagram might be the best way.
Thank you so much, Shreya,
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
on my podcast, The Mask with Abhivi.
Yes,
And
so
there's
fun.
one thing you're forgetting to say to the audience.
So like, share, comment, subscribe. And I really like the name. I really like the concept. So thank you so much for pulling this together. And I'm so excited for everyone to watch it. So thank you, Abhibir.
Thank you.